Back now with Republican gubernatorial candidate Kevin Stitt. And what's your stance on constitutional carry?
So from the very beginning, I'm a constitutional conservative, and I believe we have to protect our constitutional rights to bear arms. And I've been telling people the best defense for a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
You voted in just 8 elections since 2000. None of those elections included a race for governor. Kerry asks, what makes him think that he can run our state when he refuses to participate in the political process? What do you say to people?
So I've been a lifelong Republican. I voted for Trump, donated to Trump's campaign, and should have been more involved for sure. But I think that's the wrong question. I think there are plenty of people at 23rd and Lincoln that have perfect voting records. And, but really you're hiring a chief executive officer. And I think you need to look at the resumes on what they're doing. But I've been obviously voted in the presidential elections and haven't been as involved as I should have been. But I get it. I'm not a career politician, but I'm all in. When I'm in, I'm all in.
Chris says, is he going to stop the state from giving away tax money in the form of business rebates and incentives? If our tax money is going to be used that way, Oklahoma should have a chance to vote on it. All the policy does is put the Oklahoma budget in a hole.
Well, I think we have to be very careful about any kind of incentives. And so I tell people I'm going to be the governor for all 4 million Oklahomans. I'm not going to be the governor just for this industry or this special interest group. And that's what happens to politicians that are so worried about getting reelected or their next job or next placement that they never really make a decision against certain industries. So, I don't think the government should be picking winners and losers. And so that's kind of how I think we should approach it. As a business person, we just want a level playing field, and that's how I think about incentives, is making sure that we have a level playing field with the market in the other states that we compete against.
Larry says, I firmly believe that we do not have a tax problem and have not had for many years. We have a spending problem due to old practices and the buddy system. What can we expect from you? We know you're a, quote, outsider, and that is the deal. But how do you balance that with a learning curve of getting in there, figuring everything out, and then also, not overspending?
Well, nobody's running for governor right now has been governor before. So then you have to go back to the resumes. What is their skill set? I've been balancing budgets. I've been holding people accountable, creating transparency in all 25 of our departments. Also, we manage $18 billion in home loans. And so if you don't have a governor that understands how to deliver services in these 120 agencies, the legislature has a tough job because they get spun in a circle from these different agency heads. And I've asked for the authority to hire and fire the agency heads because nobody's held accountable right now in state government. I'm ready to get in there, reform it, hold them accountable, because we have to spend money correctly and efficiently. We don't have any different issues in our state than they have in any other state around us. So that's what's so frustrating for me, is why are we 45th in reading scores and math scores? Why am I #1 in incarceration rates? That's why I'm running for governor, folks. If the career politicians could have fixed it, they already would have.
Let's talk about that. Shad asks, how are we as Oklahomans going to address teacher pay and teaching in general? Education has been a big thing that you have talked about. Where do you begin?
So, well, first off, it starts with a vision and a goal. And we have got, in the Stitt administration, we're going to be top 10 in education. I am tired of being 45th. As I travel around, everybody's tired of being 45th. We have got to make this a priority in our state. If we don't, the consequences of that, #1, we're not getting our kids ready for the workforce, but also the federal government will come in and do stuff like they try to do with Common Core and different things. We've got to make education a priority. One of the levers I look at is obviously teacher pay. We've got to pay teachers what market is, competitive salaries. But I'm not going to just put a Band-Aid on this. I want to create a system that pays them competitively in 2030 and 2035. Because we've been told our whole lives that the casinos were going to fix education, the lottery was going to fix it, liquor by the drink. Everybody that's been in Oklahoma our whole life, nothing ever works. The last governor to really address it was Henry Bellman. That's how long ago it's been. As governor, I will address the funding formula and how we fix education long term.
Just real quickly, so what do you think of how Governor Fallin has done her time? I mean, what's your thought there?
Well, I mean, Governor Fallin, she's a very nice lady. And I don't want to throw stones at people because I haven't been there yet. But I'm just totally different, okay? As a business person and somebody that's had to hire and fire and set strategy and lead, and that's what I ask all the people that I meet with is just think about what is the job of the governor. And I think it's to set the vision, put the plan together, hire the right people, get the legislature all moving in the right direction. It's things that I've had to do my whole career in the private sector, and that's why I've got tremendous momentum. That's why I came out of nowhere and won this race, and we're going to win the runoff and then win the general, is because people want an outsider. They don't want more of the same.
Did you think it was going to be you and Lamb, or did you know?
You know, it was really,
Cornette.
it was really tight. We were showing, you know, just kind of a dead heat. So I wasn't sure. We thought we'd be there. I didn't know if it was going to be Lamb or Cornette.
Okay. Well, we will see you in August, sir. We appreciate you coming by and being
my pleasure.
candid with us. We thank you so much. I
Thank
want to
you.
let you know that this interview will go up on our website, and all the other gubernatorial candidates, they're already on there. So check it out.